Are rising again in Rabie Ridge near Tembisa as people erect homes on government land. Nearly 2 weeks ago, private security opened fire using rubber bullets on land invaders who were burning tires and protesting. Residents say government promised them RDP houses. For more on this story, I'm joined by eNCA's Aviwe Mtila, who is live for us from Rabie Ridge. And Aviwe, we saw those tensions about 2 weeks ago or so, but it had to do with privately owned land owned by a particular trust. But it seems now focus has shifted to land that's owned by the state. What do we know about these latest tensions around land in Rabie Ridge?
Yes, Batulas, we're about a kilometer away from that contentious land where we saw a lot of tension from the Rabie Ridge community about a week ago. And time and again, they kept on referring to this land where we are. We understand it's government land that was promised to them for years. And yes, there are buildings that are starting to be erected here. We understand they were told from May last year that they'd be building the buildings here. But they tell us that the construction company has since allegedly eaten the money, and only 3 RDP houses have been built here. And the material itself, it's quite loose material. It's those ceiling boards, the material that is used normally for ceiling boards, that has been building these areas. We had to have stepped off away from the community because we've been threatened with violence here, some of them threatening to stone us, so we've had to move away. But the community is some 500 meters away from us, converging there once more, and there is about 50 security officers around patrolling the land, making sure that no one erects those shacks here, as the community has vowed to erect shacks. Now, there's also racial tensions that are at play here, Bratulas. There's a colored community as well as a black community that is both claiming the land, saying that the stands that are erected here they're both claiming, either side claiming that they're the ones that will be moving in here. So there's also that tension, which has caused them, a lot of them saying that they don't want media here. There was, in fact, a bit of a heated altercation earlier on. So that's the situation, as it seems like normalcy is building, with the community just converging some 500 meters, and the security, which we don't understand which company they come from, as they refuse to detail where they come from, but they're just patrolling the area so far.
But as far as we can ascertain, Aviwe, that is government land, and the plan was to build houses, the government subsidized houses on that piece of land. And the intention of the people who are gathered there is to actually erect their own homes, shacks in that particular space.
Yes, because they're saying the land has been lying fallow now for some time. They were promised that by at least last year there'd be RDP houses that are erected here, made of those ceiling boards, but those promises aren't coming to fruition. So they're saying that they're taking it upon themselves to erect those shacks. Yesterday they erected shacks here, but JMPD, we understand from the community, came in, told them that they dismantled the shacks, go away, and then some community members said that they were just asked to be peaceful as that process unfolds, and then once the JMPD officials were away, they can then erect those shacks. But they're seeing now that there's private security that's been called in. They're questioning the authenticity of this private security. Who called this private security? The private security doesn't want to show any form of identification as to who they are. We also try to pose questions just to find out who called them in and who they are, and they just kept mum. So the community here is also questioning why there's private security and who called on the private security. But the land itself is government land. In fact, there have been stands that foundations that have been built on the land already, with 3 RDP houses erected already, made of those ceiling boards. But the community says that by now there should be a lot more. In fact, they should be residing in this Rabie Ridge land, which I understand is government land, about a kilometer away from that contentious private property, the way we saw flare-ups last week.
So it really talks, Aviwe, to, not excusing lawlessness by any stretch of the imagination, but the fact that we've seen these tensions and they are around the same issues of land and access to homes, it really shows that there's a particularly pronounced demand in that particular area. Whatever the solutions may be, the demand is an actual reality in that community.
Certainly, Bratulas. I just want to show you around the area itself, and maybe just to get a better understanding. I'm told the area that my colleague is showing you right over there, just on the outskirts of the land, it's largely populated by the colored community. And just meters away on the right-hand side, there are shacks there that have been built. And in fact, just on the outskirts of the land, people are continuing to erect those shacks there. We understand the majority of people that live there are the black community. So there's that tension as well that's boiling here. Both parties claiming that they will be the recipients of this land. But of course, the issue itself is around the land, the promises that have been made, the RDP houses that have been promised to them. Yet, till this stage, they're saying that only 3 have been erected, and the construction company is nowhere to be seen, claiming, the community is claiming that the money to erect what was supposed to be RDP houses has been eaten by the government, essentially. So there are a lot of claims that still need looking into as to exactly what has happened to this land, which we understand was promised to the community, and who actually is supposed to reside here.
All right, thank you for that. That's eNCA's Aviwe Mtila giving us the context as well there for those protests and attempts to build on that piece of land that at this point at least we understand belongs to government. Just setting it all together for us there, Aviwe Mtila giving us the context of the demand for housing and access to land, a place to call home in the area of Rabie Ridge. And of course, issues to do with race relations also coming up within that particular context.